What's going on, everybody? It's Davey from the 80s, and you are now entering the Cinema Chop Shop. So park your ass right there. And while you're there, don't forget to hit the like, the share, the subscribe button. Also, if you check the link below, you see a Patreon account. If you click it, you can become a member. All you got to do is try recommend movies and music and trailers for me to react to. So click that damn link. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video because it's going to be a good one. And with that being said, I'm going to have a quick little top five kind of discussion type video. You know me, guys. I'm a huge horror fan, so I wanted to do a top five best horror endings, right? So this was a really hard task for me to do because there's so many great horror endings, but I was able to conjure a five, and I have one honorable mention. So the honorable mention will be Friday the 13th from 1980. Now, everybody knows the plot of Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th, you have these people going to this camp that's been reopened because some boy done drowned in a lake. And slowly but surely, everybody starts getting knocked off. And then you get to the end of the movie with the big reveal. And this isn't even the best ending I'm talking about. You get to the big reveal, and it turns out to be Jason's mom, which is automatically actually a really good ending, right? Like, you didn't really expect it because, dude, Jason's mom is in the movie for like 5 seconds, and like she just kind of just like randomly is introduced to the movie. And I just had a conversation with somebody about the how Friday the 13th probably isn't really even that great of a movie. Shout out to 6 Feet Under. And it makes sense. Like, honestly, like, Jason's mom just kind of pops up out of nowhere, and the ending kind of just seems thrown together real quickly. But we're not gonna go into that for we're not gonna go into detail about that. But anyway, so Jason's mom ends up having a final showdown with the final girl. She ends up cutting off Jason's mom's head. And this is the part where things get a lot interesting. We have she thinks she's safe, floating in the boat, you know what I'm saying? Sees the police officers, and then all of a sudden,
Don't flinch, nigga. Stand still.
yeah, my boy Jason came grabbing her from the water. But is that what really happened? No, it didn't really happen. It actually ended up being a dream sequence. But this became it was like so much, and it was like the best damn jump scare ever that they ended up doing this in almost all of the Friday the 13th. Almost every Friday the 13th movie had one of these endings where it was just like it was a pump fake ending. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to them for doing that. Nobody expected that shit to happen. I sure as hell didn't when I first watched this movie. I that Jason came out of nowhere, oh, bitch. It was just crazy to see Jason do that. So kudos to them for doing that. That's why it was an honorable mention. It was an unforgettable scene. Tom Savini did the makeup for that. I mean, fantastic. Now we get into the actual nitty gritty list. So we have coming in at number five, Psycho from 1960. The synopsis of this movie is there's a young lady who stole some money from her job so that her and her dude could kind of like run off and get elope, and she could help him pay for his debts. And the whole movie is like you're thinking like, okay, it's going to be centered around her, who is Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, and she ends up checking into this motel, and then Norman Bates kills her, and then basically whatever, she's just forgotten. So it's kind of crazy that you're this whole story was set up to make you think that she was the main character. Then she gets excommunicado. So it's just, to me, that threw me for a loop when I first saw it. I'm like, damn, like I was super invested in this money story, and I was like, okay, where are they going to go with this? And then for them to just turn it on itself, and now she's dead, and okay, now we have a whole nother plot with a whole different cast, So now her sister comes to the hotel room, she hires a private detective, and they're investigating the situation. Come to find out, Norman Bates, the son, the son of the owner of the Bates Motel, his mother, he's been killing the guest, right? And usually the guests kind of remind him of somebody, and that's the reason why he kills them. But the truth of the matter is, well, I kind of already gave it away. But anyway, so the movie at the end is alluding that Norman Bates' mother is still alive. But as soon as she goes upstairs and she's in the house, because obviously she has to go inside the house. She's inside the house and she sees an old woman sitting in a chair, and she's like, Mrs. Bates, Mrs. Bates. And then
Ooh, you know you did.
she turns the chair around and you see exactly what you saw. Freaking skeleton remains, right? Norman Bates' mother has been dead this whole time. He's robbed her grave, took her body, kept it in the house like she's still alive. So Norman Bates is psychotic and also It was like a multiple personality situation going on where he's kind of switching back and forth between himself and his mother's personality. Alfred Hitchcock is the man, the myth, the legend. Dude is the freaking king of suspense. And that honestly was one of my favorite endings. It was hard not to put that higher, but I got some good ones coming up. So Psycho 1960 coming in at number 5. Number 4, just it's kind of similar to Friday the 13th, another camp movie. We have Sleepaway Camp coming in 3 years later at 1983. This movie is starring Felissa Rose as Angela. This is what kind of kicked off her career in horror or whatever. But let's get into it. So the beginning of the movie opens up. It's 2 kids playing, have a boating accident. Fast forward later, they're already older. Their dad died, I guess, in a fucking boating accident. And then they're left with one of the relatives. Anyway, they end up going to a summer camp. They're in the summer camp. Angela's character, she's just quiet, kind of like reserved, kind of hangs out to herself. There's a lot of weird people in this camp, like the damn cook and everybody else. But then slowly but surely, you have all these people being douches to Angela and people around her. And slowly but surely, they start getting picked off, right? That's not the surprise part. As we're kind of seeing people just getting killed throughout the movie, people are just dying, boom, 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 bodies dropping like flies, damn it. We get to the end of the movie. And this has to be single-handedly one of the most iconic endings in horror. This is what put this movie on the map. You have the ending of the movie where Angela's character asks to meet another character at the lake. Let's go chill, sit down, whatever. The love interest. And when they find Angela's character, she's sitting there rocking. It seems seemingly rocking with a boy in her lap. Pan out, to start noticing her character's naked. You're like, okay, whatever. And she's doing this weird ass hissing noise. Some shit like that. It just sounds funny. Kind of reminds me of like one of the characters from Scooby-Doo from the cartoon show. But anyway, to the point. You finally get the big reveal. And honestly, I didn't see this shit coming at all.
My nigga, that's a man.
The big reveal happens, and it turns out that Angela ain't really Angela. That's a man, Maury. So Angela turns out to be the young boy, because it was a boy, a brother and a sister. And apparently the girl died. The boy stayed alive. When he goes to the relative's house, the mom already has a damn son, and she's like, I don't want a son, I want a daughter. So she ends up raising him to be a girl. And basically raised him to just really believe that he was a girl. But Angela is really played by a girl, Felissa Rose. And then the stunt double person, that was somebody else. But yeah, dude, it was great. Like, I did not expect to see that. When I saw it and they panned out, and I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? And they panned out, and you see, like, his junk. You're just like, whoa. And then you have the boy, like, she's a boy. You have to have the obvious dialogue to tell the audience what the fuck they just saw, because I wish I was in the theater when that shit happened, because I just don't. How would the audience react to that shit? Just like, I couldn't imagine just being in that mood there. People probably was losing their shit. Like, what the fuck am I looking at? You know what I'm saying? But that was one of the craziest endings in a horror movie I've ever seen. I did not see that shit coming. That shit came out of nowhere. And kudos to them for doing that, because, like, hey, I mean, why not? You know what I'm saying? So kudos to them. Number 4, Sleepaway Camp. Number 3, High Tension, 2003. This is a French film. Now, I recently saw this movie, like maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. I was just like, because I remember people were like, yo, this movie has a crazy ass ending. And I'm like, all right, whatever. So anyway, the movie is about this lesbian couple, and they go to one of the girlfriend's house, and, they kick in there, whatever, hanging out with the family, so on and so forth. And we've been already introduced to this killer, this savage ass killer that's been kind of in the area, just chilling, doing wild and dangerous shit. I mean, dude's like super sadistic. He did some crazy stuff at the beginning of the movie. Just to let you know how serious he is. This dude breaks into the house, goes on a crazy ass murdering spree. I mean, seriously, dude is a savage. With just every murder that he does is over. Everybody gets killed brutally. Fast forward, we get to the end of the movie, right? One of the scenes already played out in the movie. We already seen the killer do it. And then we fast forward back. Police officers arrive on the scene. They look at the cam footage, and then it reveals reveals that it was the girl the whole time. So old girl basically was living with her friend or went to visit her girlfriend's family, woke up in the middle of the night, snapped, went crazy, killed everybody, and then goes on this freaking murdering spree. And then she's been acting like she's been innocent this whole time, but she has been the damn killer this whole damn time. So this movie concludes with a very interesting concrete saw scene. I was sitting there waiting, like, oh my God, you got to use this on this other person. But it didn't end up happening. But anyway, so I didn't see that coming. I thought that was a very interesting ending. I like it was just cool to see the whole I didn't see it coming because you literally watch this killer, who the actor that plays this killer is phenomenal, by the way. You watch this killer commit these acts the whole movie, and then just to turn around and be like, yeah, this person ain't really who he says he is. Like, we see his face, we see his body composition, we see all of that. So it's kind of crazy that we've come to know this character, and then it turns out that it's just a figment of this person's imagination. It's actually really this person that's been here the whole time. It was a nice little bait and switch. It was a very nice bait and switch. I enjoyed it thoroughly. I thought it was one of the more better endings that I've seen. So yeah, kudos to High Tension for doing that shit. Number 2, coming in 2004 movie, Saw. Saw had such a good damn ending that I was spoiled and told the ending to Saw. And when I saw the movie, I still was blown away by the damn ending. There is a man. Basically, what ends up happening is these people get kidnapped. They've done some things in their life where they have to make amends with, and they're being tested because apparently they don't appreciate their lives. But you do notice that this trap is a little bit different, and it makes sense later when you dive deeper into the franchise. But I'll get into that conversation later. But anyway, these two men get kidnapped. They're trying to figure out why they're there. They're trying to figure out what's the connection to each other. They both have a connection to each other, but then it's a race against the clock, because if they don't figure this out or do what needs to be done, then one of the men's, his families, will be killed if they don't beat the clock. The movie has a lot of dialogue, a lot of flashback scenes and things like that, but it's really well done. It's a very small setting movie. It's only in a few locations, and honestly, this movie was on a really low budget. But the crazy thing about it was so successful, it made hella money off of this low ass budget. And basically, what it ended up doing it ended up producing movies every single year. Every Halloween, we look forward to Saw movies until they got boring, and we couldn't take them no more because the storyline was just done so many times that we were just like, all right, look, enough. But Saw X is coming out of movie theaters in this October, so be on the lookout for that. But anyway, the movie ends up concluding with the man sawing off his own leg in order to go to get the gun to shoot the guy, and then eventually the other guy pops in who was told that he needed to do something, or else he was going to be poisoned to death. He points the gun at the guy and ends up getting beat to death by the guy that got shot. I mean, I'm just wrapping up the movie. You guys most likely have seen this damn movie anyway. Anyway, to the point, the twist. All right, we have the guy leave the room saying that he's going to go get help. Right, he goes to get help, and all of a sudden we have the damn body on the floor finally lifts up. And I'm like, yo, this motherfucker was alive the whole time. My sister told me what the hell happens in this movie. And when I saw it, I still was just like, wow, that was a good fucking ending. This man was there. The dude that entrapped him was there the whole time. And of course, he did the douchebag thing and was like, oh yeah, the key is in the tub and went down the drain when you got out the tub. Such a douchey thing to do. There was no chance of survival there, but you learn later why. Once that guy stood up, once freaking Tobin Bell's character, Jigsaw, stood up, I lost my shit, because I'm like, this dude has been sitting here the whole fucking time. Like, he was in the room the whole, because it's funny because they were alluding to it. It starts to make sense when they're like, yo, those cameras don't have audio. So it's like, he can't hear us. But yet they were still like getting shocked. And they're like, how the fuck do they know that we're talking with each other, that we're trying to do these things? How do they know this? It's the truth. It's because dude was sitting there the whole time. He was shocking them because he was in the room with them. I did not expect that man to stand up. Even, like I said, even though the movie was spoiled for me, it was still an amazing ending. It's one of the most iconic things ever, especially when that Saw theme hits and he's like standing up and he's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So shout outs to Saw, dude. Very iconic movie. It honestly, I could have literally had nothing but Saw movies in this top 5 horror endings, but And I wanted to switch it up a little bit. Saw 1 has the most iconic ending, in my opinion. Coming in at number 1, a 1999 movie, I See Dead People. The Sixth Sense. This movie follows, it opens up with Bruce Willis's character being kind of like attacked by one of his patients. He's shot and it's assumed that he survives. He ends up going to see another little kid, seeing him, and this kid opens up to him and tells him, hey, you know what, man, I see dead people. Bruce Willis is like, get the fuck out of here. And he's like, nah, for real, like I really see dead people. And with the help of Bruce Willis, he finds out that, you know, he needs to help those spirits come to peace. Like they have like final things or final messages or things that they need to do in order to kind of like be at peace. And he's kind of like the person to kind of do that. That's not the twist though. We get to the end of the movie and the little boy tells Bruce Willis, like, look, man, the best way for you to end up talking to your wife is do it while she's asleep. And Bruce Willis is like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, just trust me, whatever. Bruce Willis goes, talks to the wife. Then the wife just says like the most craziest thing. And then this is when everything hits everybody.
Why did you leave me?
I didn't leave you.
What did he say?
Once she said, why did you leave me? He's like, what the fuck you talking about? Why did I leave you? And then she drops the ring. And then you just come to the realization that this motherfucker was dead the whole time. I remember, look, I ain't gonna lie, dude. When I was a kid, going to watch scary movies, like that shit was something else. Like I used to be terrified to go in the movie theater. So I thought The Sixth Sense was gonna be crazy as hell, especially because like just I remember the trailer having a little boy and a little girl throwing up or whatever like that. And I was just like, yo, that shit look creepy. I'm good. So we ended up watching the movie and I was blown away because it was a fantastic movie. That twist was so freaking unexpected. Like I remember being in the movie theater, like, so wait, so he was dead the whole time. Like I my little brain was just like, wait, so what just happened? Wait, he was alive the whole time? He was dead the whole time? He wasn't real? You know, he really died at the beginning of the movie. Fantastic ending. I mean, I did not see that shit coming at all. And then of course when you rewatch the movie, you start to see the hints that Bruce Willis is really dead. But as you're watching the movie, you're just like, you have no clue. You're just watching the movie. You're just watching Bruce Willis helping some little kid. You know, you don't really think too much about it. But once that big reveal comes on at the end, you're just like, dang, dude, that really was a good ass ending. Sixth Sense, hands down, is one of the most iconic horror movies around. It has one of the best endings. And I mean, how did you guys react when you saw that ending? But that's my top 5 greatest horror endings. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of the movies that I just named? And if you have not seen the movies that I named, I implore you to please go watch them. What's your top 5 movies? Like, what's your best horror movie endings? You let me know in the comment section down below. And you are now exiting the Cinema Chop Shop. Make sure to subscribe before you get the hell out of here. And I'll see you guys next time. Adios.